Welcome to the deep dive. We cut through the noise to get you those core insights that, well, really matter.
Glad to be here.
Today we're doing a fascinating deep dive. It's into an ancient teaching called Sangwara Katha.
Which basically means words of restraint, or you could say mindfulness.
Exactly. And this wisdom, it comes from way back, 1954 actually, but it offers this amazing shortcut almost to self-mastery, inner peace.
Yeah, it's surprisingly practical.
So our mission today is really to pull out that practical stuff, give you actionable insights, for navigating all the information overload, just daily life, really. Hopefully with a bit more clarity, maybe some calm.
And what's really striking is how it lays out these two very, very different paths for any individual, really.
Yeah.
And they lead to completely different places.
Right. One path leaves a person kind of wide open, vulnerable, easily knocked over by things.
Which the teaching calls Mara. That represents, well, all the obstacles, the afflictions, the stuff that messes with their well-being.
And then the other path.
That's someone who builds this unshakable inner strength. Mara just can't touch them.
Okay, so let's unpack that first one then. The vulnerable path. How is this person described?
They're called one who sees according to beautiful or pleasing things.
Okay, but that sounds nice. Like appreciating beauty.
It's more than that. It's not just appreciating it. It's getting completely swept away by it. Finding pleasure in all the sensory stuff, sights, sounds, smells, tastes, physical touch.
Okay.
And even, crucially, mental objects. Thoughts, memories, plans.
So getting totally absorbed, like you see something appealing, hear something delightful.
Or even just dwell on a pleasant thought. The text uses an image of a crane stuck in the mud, right? Comfortable, but stuck. Can't pull itself away.
That's a powerful image. So it's not just what's out there, but also getting tangled in our own heads, like replaying good memories or even future fantasies.
Precisely. And this absorption, it leads directly to the next point. Being unrestrained in the senses, meaning they don't guard the senses. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and the mind itself. These 6 doors, they're left wide open.
And why is guarding them so critical? It sounds a bit, restrictive.
Well, think of it less as restriction and more like energy management. If the doors are always open, your attention, your mental energy, it just leaks out constantly. You get fragmented, easily distracted. That's the real disarray, especially now, right, with constant stimulation.
That makes sense, constantly leaking energy.
Yeah. And this lack of restraint, it doesn't stop at the senses. It broadens out. The teaching says such a person is also immoderate in consuming food.
Okay, so eating too much.
That's part of it, but it's broader. It applies to all the 4 requisites for living.
Which are?
Food, clothing, dwelling, and medicine. Immoderate means not knowing the right measure, not using them properly. It leads to subtle kinds of self-sabotage.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Okay, well, overeating until you're sick, obviously, but also maybe managing money poorly, getting into debt because you don't know how to make resources last.
Right. Or like letting your house fall into disrepair because you just don't maintain it.
Exactly. And interestingly, it even points to using medicine when you're not ill as immoderate.
Really? That's specific.
It points to a deeper kind of carelessness, doesn't it? A lack of knowing what's appropriate, what's truly beneficial for your well-being. It undermines you.
Okay, so unrestrained senses, immoderate consumption. What else characterizes this vulnerable person?
The final description is lazy and having weak effort.
Lazy. That sounds straightforward.
Well, the original term is actually quite specific. It translates something like one immersed in behaviors worthy of contempt by the wise.
Whoa. Okay, so not just couch potato lazy.
No, it's deeper. It implies a lack of faith, really. No conviction in the path towards well-being. It leads to idleness, sure, but also misdirected effort.
Misdirected how?
Their effort, their energy gets channeled into harmful things, harmful actions, harmful speech, even harmful thoughts. They're basically described as disciples of Mara, easily led off track by their own desires.
Wow. Disciples of Mara, that's intense.
There's a story in the commentary that really nails this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, about a hermit, lived in the wilderness for decades, right? Really dedicated. But he developed this intense craving for salty and sour tastes.
Okay.
Someone gives him some monitor lizard curry, and he finds it so delicious. Unbelievably good.
Uh-oh.
Always right. He starts seriously thinking about killing his own pet monitor lizard, which, in this story, was considered a special animal, a bodhisattva lizard, just so he could keep eating that curry.
No way, after decades of practice, just for a taste.
Exactly. It shows how even a small indulgence, if you're not mindful, can just hijack your mind. It makes you start rationalizing things you'd never normally consider, prioritizing that immediate hit of pleasure over everything else.
Yeah, that's a powerful illustration. It's a slow erosion, isn't it?
Totally. And it makes you wonder, right, how often do we maybe do that on a smaller scale? Let some fleeting desire override a deeper value.
Good question. The teaching compares this person to a weak tree, right?
Yeah.
Easily blown over.
Just like a weak, rotting tree. Even a small gust of wind, a small temptation or setback can just knock them flat. Easily overcome by Mara.
Okay, so that's the vulnerable path. Pretty clear picture. Now, let's flip it. What about the other side? The person Mara cannot overcome.
Right. This person is described completely differently. As one who sees according to unpleasing things.
Unpleasing things. So they're just pessimistic, seeing the bad in everything.
No, not at all. It's not about finding things ugly or being negative. It's about seeing the true nature of things.
Which is?
Which is seeing that all forms, sounds, smells, taste, touches, even mental stuff, it's all impermanent. It's changeable. It's deceptive in a way, not solid or lasting.
So even if something looks beautiful,
You see it clearly. You recognize its beauty, but you also understand it's temporary, like an illusion almost. It's not denying beauty. It's seeing through the surface-level attachment. It's clear-sightedness.
okay, that makes more sense. Seeing things as they really are transient.
Exactly. And this deeper insight, this clarity, allows them to be well-restrained in the senses.
The opposite of the first person.
Right. They carefully, mindfully guard those 6 doors. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, speech, and mind.
And the teachings give examples here, too.
Yeah, practical ones. Like avoiding danger by not just letting your eyes wander uncontrollably, rubbernecking at an accident and causing another one. It's understanding that guarding the senses actually protects you and leads to inner stability. Benefit, not restriction.
Okay, so well-restrained senses. What else? Does it mention food again?
It does. This person is moderate in consuming food.
So the opposite of immoderate.
Exactly. They understand what's appropriate for their body, they choose what brings well-being, and they actively avoid what causes harm or imbalance.
Is it just about quantity?
Quantity, but also quality and timing. The commentary mentions, old practices of actually measuring food precisely, or simply stopping eating when you're mostly full, leaving a little space for water, aiding digestion.
Interesting. Very practical.
And again, this moderation extends to all 4 requisites: clothing, dwelling, medicine. Using them wisely, taking care of them, knowing the right time and the right measure. It's about appropriateness.
Got it. So restraint, moderation. What's the final piece for this strong individual?
The final piece is faith and diligent effort.
Faith? What does that mean here? Blind belief.
Not blind belief, no, it's more like unwavering conviction, a deep trust in the truth of the teachings and, importantly, their consequences, like understanding karma, that actions have results.
Okay, a conviction based on understanding and diligent effort.
Diligent effort is the active part. Consistently striving to maintain good conduct, sila, to develop concentration, samadhi, and to cultivate wisdom, panya.
So ethical conduct, mental focus, and insight.
Yes, and it also includes just taking care of yourself, body and mind, in a way that supports this path. Because they're grounded in this stability, this consistent effort, Mara just can't shake them.
Like the mountain analogy.
Exactly. Like wind hitting a solid rock mountain. It just can't move it. These people are called disciples of the Buddha.
Okay, so those are the 2 paths. Vulnerable versus unshakable. How do we actually cultivate that second path, that restraint, that stability?
Well, the core instruction, the real practical technique offered, is about training the mind to stop.
Stop! Stop doing what?
Stop its wandering. Specifically, to stop it at the center of the body.
The center of the body, where's that?
The texts describe it quite precisely. It's called the human body's Dharma sphere. Located right at the core, clear like a mirror. One teaching even gives a size like a chicken's egg yolk. It's a specific point to focus on.
Okay, a focal point, not just a vague idea.
Right. And the practice is, whenever any sensory input comes in sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, even a thought popping up.
Which happens constantly.
Constantly. The instruction is to immediately bring the mind back, gently guided, to stop right there at that center point. It's like the mind's natural home base.
So something happens, you feel a reaction starting, and you just bring your attention back to this center spot.
Yes. And from that grounded place, that stillness, the mind can then consciously decide, okay, I see this input, I'm not going to get swept away by it.
Ah, so it's not about not experiencing things.
Not at all. It's about recognizing the sensory input for what it is, just input. Not inherently good or bad, but a potential trigger, a potential foe, as the text says, that could lead to craving or aversion, desire or grief if you just react automatically.
So, like, if you get an annoying email, instead of instantly firing back,
You bring your mind to the center first, just for a minute. Create a little space. Then you can choose a response instead of just reacting.
and the stopping, it changes your emotional response, like the example about not crying over loss.
That's the idea. By stopping the mind, by grounding it, you're less likely to be overwhelmed by those big waves of emotion because you're cultivating an understanding, an embodied sense of impermanence. Things arise, things pass away.
And this leads somewhere, this stopping practice.
Absolutely. This stopping, this cultivated stillness, is the direct path to deep concentration samadhi. One-pointedness of mind, ekaggata-citta.
Okay. Concentration.
From that stable foundation of concentration, that's where wisdom, paññāña, arises naturally. Then liberation, vimutti. And finally, the clear seeing of that liberation, vimuttiñāṇadassana.
Wow. All from just stopping the mind at the center.
It sounds simple, but it's profound. The teaching is clear. If the mind doesn't stop, it's not really restrained. It stays vulnerable. The stopping is key.
We've really unpacked quite a bit there from Sangwara Katha. It's amazing how these, well, ancient words offer such practical steps for dealing with our very modern, very overwhelming world.
It really does. And that core idea, that restraint, isn't about denial, but about understanding impermanence and having that anchor point for the mind. That's powerful.
It leads to that inner peace, doesn't it? That freedom from being constantly yanked around by desires and dislikes.
Yeah, it makes liberation feel less like some lofty philosophical thing and more like a practical skill you can actually develop through conscious effort, through that practice of stopping the mind at the center.
So, reflecting on all this, what's a key takeaway for you?
For me, it's that immediate practicality. The idea that right in the middle of feeling overwhelmed or strongly pulled by something, you have a concrete action you can take. Bring the mind back to center. It's accessible.
That's a great point. So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe something for you, the listener, to consider. How often did your mind get swept away? By sights, sounds, tastes, smells, touches, or just your own thoughts? What might it actually look like, feel like for you to consciously try to stop your mind at that center point next time you feel that pull? Whether it's something really pleasant or something deeply frustrating.
Yeah, just try it.
How could that simple act, that brief pause, change your immediate reaction? Maybe even change the whole experience of that moment. Something definitely worth exploring.